procrastinate with it too, because it is also prophesied in scriptures that there's going to be a time where we won't be able to get a word the way we give it right now. Right? While it's open and we can hit these streets and give this word, we need to go do that. Right? While we can go online, while we can go on YouTubes and all the different streamings systems that's out there, because he's going to lock it down. All right? It's only like hold you at and get Amos 8 and 11. Amos 8 and 11.
The book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High thy God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Most High.
There's going to be a famine in the land of hearing the word of the Most High. So right now, while the word is scripture says, seek him while he may be found. All right? Don't wait to the point where, now you man, remember the brothers was there and they was teaching, man, I had time for them. Now you're looking for the word and it can't be found. So the scriptures say, seek him while he may be found. Because there's going to be a famine in the land, not of bread or water, but of the word of Yahweh. All right. Now there's many churches, there's many pastors, but it's still a famine of the word. All right. Because unfortunately, a lot of our so-called spiritual leaders don't actually teach us out of the Bible in its entirety about who we are, who our power is. Okay. Read on. Is there more there? No, it's free. So that, all right, go back to Hosea.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 1. Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land.
Right.
By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood.
So what happens when there's a lack of truth, lack of the laws in the land? What happens? What ended up taking place? Chaos, sin, violence. So the conditions of our people are set a lack of truth. That's what they're lacking, right? And that's why our people are in the condition that they're in today. But when you come to the truth, you no longer operate in that way. You can't operate that way and be in the spirit, right? When the Most High reveals His Spirit unto you, and He reveals your heritage unto you, and you start to praise His name, you no longer operate in the world like that. That doesn't even make sense anymore, okay? Because that's darkness, and now the Most High has brought you into the light, and the light and dark cannot stay in the same place at the same time, right? We witness that every time you turn the lights on. Every time you walk in a room and it's dark, you turn the lights on. Where the darkness went? It has to. So as you shine your light, because this word is a light. Everybody understand that? Right? Give me that Proverbs 6 and verse 23. And then give me Isaiah 8 and 20. You get it yet? Design? Portion.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is the light.
Truth and instruction are the way of life. So the law is a light. So as you come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, you shine your light. Darkness got to flee out of you, from around you. Wherever you go, if you shine your light, darkness got to flee from you. So you might notice that when you come to this word, that a lot of people might have less friends, right? People might start to distance themselves from you because of your light, right? It's because of your light. Because it cannot, if they don't want to grab hold of the light, then it's going to be some distance. You know what I mean? You can't take it personal. You know what I mean? It's because of your light, the light that the Most High has given to you. Right? He said He give us light that we may be what? Illuminated. Right? But He has to give us the light for us to be illuminated. Right? Which is the laws. Right? Give me Isaiah 8 and 20 now.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. What? There is no light in them.
So now you got, especially this time of the year, they got all their, so-called holidays or their pagan-based worship when they have these Christmases and this false New Year and all that, and they trying to indoctrinate you, put you down, to shine your light. You trying to be in the spirit of the Most High. This is the battlefield. Remember our battlefield now. We talked about it last night. It's not like swords and bucklers and axes like the time of Judas Maccabeus, right? Our battlefield is of the spirit now. We have a spiritual warfare that we're going through. And every day, everybody, you gotta be soldiers, you gotta fight, right? Brothers gotta be soldiers, our sisters gotta be soldiettes, if that's even a word, right? But you have to fight too, right? Your fight is as great as our fight. Right? Because you're fighting for yourself and for our children. Right? Because our children, a lot of us could attest to it. You mostly learn a lot from, what your mother did. You know what I mean? You learn a lot from that. So if your mother's rolling in that spirit of righteousness, you're going to have that spirit of righteousness on you. Everybody understand that? All right. So we have to have that, reestablish that in our households, that we have, parents of righteousness that bring forth children of righteousness. Right? In these school systems, in the media, they're all trying to push our children, our offspring to follow the masses. But the scriptures say, follow not a multitude, right, to do evil, right? Don't follow a multitude to do wicked. Doesn't matter if everybody is doing that. You not, right? Everybody can have lights in their house. Your house is dark, right? Time of the year, right? Like when everybody during the Thanksgiving, so-called Thanksgiving is really what it is, right? The Thanksgiving, everybody's running out to buy a turkey and doing this, that, and that. You're not doing that. You're not involved in that. These are all parts of, first of all, separating ourselves from this kingdom, but it's a battle because you have family members, you have people that's close to you that want to pull you back in, and you have to pull the other way, right? So it's almost like a tug of war. Everybody understand that? All right. Read on. You said you just read the light in
Isaiah 8 and 20.
Right? All right, now give me St. John 8 and verse 32. Then we're going to get into this portion.
The book of St. John, chapter 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Right, come on.
They answered him, we be Abraham's seed.
Right.
And were never in bondage.
He said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall free you. And he said, man, we Abraham's seed. Right? We ain't in bondage. Read on.
How sayest thou, ye shall be made free?
Right.
Yahushua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you,
come on,
whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin.
Is the what?
Is the servant of sin.
Right. So our people are bounded. We tell them they're going to be free. They say they're free. They don't understand that they're under the bounds and the chains of sin. When you loose yourself from sinful behavior, you are free to move about and be blessed in all that you do. Right? You don't have to be, entangled and held down like a lot of our people. It's oppressive. Sin is an oppressive spirit that comes with that. Right? So Yahushua is teaching them, listen, this truth, this light is going to free you. Right? Read on.
Verse 35. And the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever.
Right.
If the Son therefore shall make you free,
right,
ye shall be free indeed.
You shall be what?
Ye shall be free indeed.
Come on.
I know that ye are Abraham's seed,
right,
but ye seek to kill me,
right,
because my word have no place in you.
Right. So they wanted to kill Yahushua, Christ, because of what? He's telling them to be free from sin. He's just the same thing you're telling them, right? The same words we're uttering to our people. They didn't love, they claim to love Christ, when they're in the midst of their holidays and they say they love the Most High, they love Christ. But really, when the word of the Christ is coming out, when the word of the Most High is coming forth, they don't want no part of that. Right? Now you become an enemy. Just like Christ was the enemy. Right? So he's, as just the way he's educated way. So I know you're gonna have battles, especially this time of the year, right? But we're up for the fight, Khan. Right. We are that same spirit that was in Judas Maccabeus, and the mighty men of 3,000 taking on 6,000, 10,000 taking on 65,000. We went over it last night. We know that even though the odds might be against you, might be the one person, and everybody in your house is trying to do something different. Everybody in your family trying to get you to go their way, and you be that one person, right? But you still gotta stand strong. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, stand strong in these last days. Okay, one more on this warfare. Get 2 Corinthians 10. And 2.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 2. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present, with the Salakia, with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think.
All right, so he says, I'm going to be bold. I think to be bold and confident. A lot of time people, they get the wrong idea, because when the word comes out, it comes out with authority. You might say, they might think that you're angry, or why are you so mad? Why 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 are you so aggressive? Right? They will say, right? The boldness is a boldness that comes with this word, because it's written from a position of boldness, right? I cannot deliver this word, but in the way that it was delivered unto me, right? Yahweh spoke with great authority. It's a stone, and why? Because he spoke with authority, because he spoke the words of his Father. When you speak the words of the Father, you're going to be taken as you're speaking with authority. And some people might be taken back by that. They might be offended, right? But it is the boldness of the word that they're hearing in you, not of yourself. So yes, with meekness, we go to them, but the word itself is bold, right? So we might try to, how could you say, put some sugar on this. You try to deliver it, sugarcoat it, right? They say sugarcoat it, right? But you can't sugarcoat. It's too bold. You just have to bring forth the word. So don't fear that. Let the word flow, right? Read.
Verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh,
right? We walk in the flesh, right?
We do not war after the flesh,
right? So even though they see us and we're bold and we're standing strong and we're speaking, but it's not about us glorifying the flesh or wanting to battle or fight. Read on.
Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal,
right,
but mighty through Yahweh,
right,
to the pulling down of strongholds.
Right. So the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal, I mean, they're not tangible. It's not hands against fists or knives or guns or anything to that effect, right? But they're spiritual. But this word is spirit. All right, read on.
Verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh.
So they might say, why are you always against everything? Well, that's what the word is. The word is made and given to us to cast down anything that is contrary. It doesn't coexist. You can't have, how you see they have like the menorah next to the Christmas tree? That's an abomination. You can't put the menorah next to the Christmas tree. All right? You can't coexist with this truth. The truth doesn't coexist with other philosophies. Everybody understand that?
God.
Don't feel okay. Well, at least they put a menorah next to the Christmas. Well, they put a menorah, so they represent. No, that's not how it works. You got to take the Christmas tree down before you put the menorah up. Everybody understand that?
God.
So don't be tricked or fooled or duped to think that, that they're honoring the Most High by putting the menorah next to the Christmas tree. All right. In fact, that's more blasphemous. Better they don't put the menorah up at all than to put it next to the Christmas tree. Everybody understand that? Read.
Verse 5, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right. So we bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushua. So every thought, everything you thinking, if it's not according to Yahweh, according to this word, we're going to bring it to obedience. We're going to tell you that it's wrong. We're going to tell you that thus saith the Most High. We're going to go to the scriptures, to the precepts. Like, this is what the Most High requires of us. Read on.
Verse 6, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience.
Right.
When your obedience is fulfilled.
Right. So you have to be in a readiness to revenge, meaning that's what to come against, right? The disobedience, but you have to wait till your obedience is fulfilled. All right. So don't go out there trying to check somebody and you off yourself, right? You got to make sure you right with what you checking somebody with first, right? If you don't think that their sin is lesser than your sin. Okay. Make sure you right with what you checking somebody with. If you're gonna get somebody with a dietary law, make sure you keeping a dietary law. Right. Then you go to, all right, listen, we can't be eating that. Because you show up, because you not, right? Or you keeping the Sabbath day holy. We can't go here, do that, do this, because you're not doing those things. It gives you authority to speak on it. Everybody understand that? Right? Because we don't want to come off to our people as hypocrites. Right? And be like the Pharisees. They speak but do not. Right? Yahushua talks about that. The Pharisees speak 23 or 23:1. We don't want to, be guilty of that in the sight of the Most High. Matthew 23:1.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 1. Then spake Hamashiach Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Right.
All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe.
Right. So they sit in Moses' seat, meaning that what was Moses' seat? What was his job? He was the lawgiver, right? He gave us the message from the Most High. He relayed the will of Yahweh to the children of Israel, right? Anytime you read in the first 5 books of Moses, it says, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, right? It says, I think about every chapter. And the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. So what he told Moses, Moses went and told the children of Israel. So the scribes and the Pharisees, they sat in Moses' seat. So they spoke what the Most High, the documents that the Most High left us to the children of Israel, right? But what's the problem with them? Read on.
That observe and do.
So he said, whatever they teach you, observe and do, because they teach you from the Bible. Read on. But they do. Why? Read.
For they say and do not.
Because they say one thing, they give us the law, the commandments, but what? Are they keeping it? No. They say and do not. So we got to make sure that we're not doing that we're not saying and not doing. Right? We're going to teach this word, but we got to live up to the word that we teach. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Read on.
Verse 4, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne.
Right? They make things difficult. They tell you everything that you must do. Read.
And lay them on men's shoulders.
Come on.
But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers.
Right? They wouldn't. Right? So they want you to go through, all the hardships, but themselves not willing to go through it. All right. So this is that spirit of the scribes and Pharisees that we can't have on us. Right? Everyone, you speak it, live it. Okay. So at this point, we're going to get into the portion. All right, read on.
Verse 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men.
Right.
They make broad their
phylacteries.
And enlarge their borders of their garments.
Right. So they do it for show. Right. You don't want to be that spirit on you. Okay, I go out there to teach the word because you want to look a certain way, but then when you go home, you're breaking all the commandments of the Most High. Right. You go out there yelling at the people, go home and break the commandment. What sense does that make? Right. Right? The Most High is not going to prosper in your hands. Right? So you got to make sure you're living it if we're going to speak it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. So you can't be at the Hanukkah celebration and at the Christmas party. All right, you're going off. All right, so let's bring it all the way to layman's terms. Right, you can't eat at both tables. Right, you got to sacrifice this world so you can gain the spirit and the knowledge of the Most High. All right, forsake this kingdom. All right, so the portion for today. One moment, look at this here. We're doing today's 21st? 21st. All right. So we're in Genesis 37 and 1 to Genesis 40 and 23. Genesis 37 and 1 to Genesis 40 and 23. That's what we're going to review in the spirit today and get edified.
The book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father the evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren.
So what does that mean? He was the son of his old age. What does that mean? How, like, more? Give me more. Give me more. Yes. Huh? He was the youngest, right? He was a little one, right? He came out, he was also the first from Rachel, right? Which was, his favor. Okay, so let's read.
Verse 4. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more.
Right, so how teenagers get down, right? Who got teenager children, right? There you go. They be battling, right? Arguing. So they in the midst, they arguing, they battling, right? And of course, there's one other son, of course, Benjamin, but he's a baby. He's not he's not with them. They're older, right? And they started to hate on him because he's the father would give him, favor over the other sons. All right. Not that he was ill-treating the other sons, but this was Joseph. He saw something special in Joseph. Okay. So you give him a certain favor. Read on.
Verse 6. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed.
Right.
For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, right, and behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made.
Yeah.
And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words.
All right, so they hated him for his dream. Right? How you gonna hate somebody for a dream? Could you control what you dream about? Right? So they showed that they just had a spirit on them against the brother. Brother trying to tell them the dream, they hating on it for the dream. But don't we realize something in our dreams, they're not just dreams. Right. Because the Most High prophesied he would come to us in our dreams. Hold that and get Job. Come on. 32:14, 33:14. All right. Come on.
This is the book of Job, chapter 33 and verse 14. For the Most High speaketh once, yet twice,
right?
Yet man perceive it not.
Come on.
In a dream.
In a what?
In a dream.
Right. So the Most High will come to you in a dream. Right? He said he spoke it once, twice, but man perceive it not. Man don't even realize it's the Most High giving you understanding when you're dreaming. Especially when you're battling with something. You know, people say, I got to sleep on it. Right? Maybe you're thinking about, you don't know which way to go. Let me sleep on it. It'll tell, tomorrow I'll have clarity. Put that spirit in you, you start to get the answers that you need. Then you wake up with the answer. All right? It's not a coincidence. The scriptures talk about it. He said, I will come to you in your dreams. Right? Read on.
In the vision of the night.
In the vision of the night.
When deep sleep falleth upon men.
Right. While you sleeping, he's coming to you, right? Giving you what? Knowledge, understanding, instruction. Read on.
And slumberings upon the bed. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose,
right?
And his pride and hid pride from man,
right?
He keepeth back his soul from the pit.
From the what? Then you slept on it and you change your mind. I was going to do that, but then you know what? I'm not going to do that no more, right? You was about to mess yourself up because you were using your own pride, your own mind. And the Most High intervened within your understanding. The Most High will communicate with us even when we're sleeping. All right, hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
What precept you had? Okay. Oh, okay.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions.
Right, I have multiplied visions. The Most I said, I multiplied their visions. When you get those visions, right? When you slumbering, you sleeping. Read on.
And use similitudes.
And he used what?
And use similitudes.
So, like, when in your dream, it don't be exactly what's going to happen. It's similitudes, right? You might, you hear a lot of people say, well, I dreamed frogs, or I dreamed something else, or, it was something wild, some sort of animal, some situation that you never been there, you never, where's this coming from? But the Most High sometimes we use similitudes trying to give you a message. It's not always plain to see. Everybody understand this? Right? He'll use people in your life. He'll use faces that you're familiar with within your head, or that animal, or that object in your dream. But it's the message behind what is it trying to tell you. Everybody understand that? So he uses similitudes, things that mean other things. Read.
Verse 10. By the ministry of the prophets.
It's just that.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so let's go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 10. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him,
right.
What is this dream that thou hast dreamed?
Right.
Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth?
Right.
And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same.
Right. So at first he rebuked him, but then he observed, he what? He thought about it. He said, you know what? That's a dream. He's not in control of what he dreamed about. Right? But at first it sounded disrespectful. How's your younger son talking about we are all going to play obeisance to me, meaning you're going to bow to me? He's like, what? Because what's going on with you? First thing he said, you started rebuking him. But then you realize was, him, Jacob being a wise man, realized that, you know what, that coming from the Most High. Right? That's a dream. He didn't have control over that. So I need to pay attention to what that's about. Right? Read on.
Verse 12. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock. Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him,
right, it's going further into the story. Let's go back to Genesis. It's going to put us ahead. We ain't get there yet. Oh, Salakia, I'm sorry. Go ahead, read on. Sorry. I'm using the screen and Bible. Don't worry about it. Salakia. All right.
Verse 12. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brother feed the flock in Shechem?
Right.
Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence for I heard them say, Let us go to Dathan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dathan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came,
they are there feeding the flocks. You know what their father had them to work, the father had them doing, showing up. So it's almost like he come to tell on them, because they're supposed to be in Shechem feeding the flocks. They're over there somewhere else, right? So when they see him coming, they already start plotting against him. He said, "Hey, this guy come now," right? So they already had an ill spirit towards their younger brother. Read on.
They conspired against him to slay him.
To what?
To slay him.
They started saying they're gonna kill him. So they really were angry with Joseph. Read.
And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Behold now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him. And we shall see what will become of his dreams. And out of their hands.
Right. So now Reuben, out of all the brothers, Reuben is what? He's the oldest brother, right? So he's the more, level-headed, watcher over all the brothers. You know what I mean? He's next in line to the father. So when he heard what the brothers was talking about, he said, "How you gonna kill your brother? What's going on? These brothers going off right now, right?" So he saved Joseph from that calamity with his brethren. All right, let's read.
And he delivered him out of their hands and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands,
right? To
deliver him to his father again.
Right. So he tried to say, okay, let's throw him in the pit. And his plan was to go back and get him and bring him back to his father. Right? Because if he'd have just he tried to appease their wrath. So he said, okay, let's throw him in the pit. He was going to double back around, pick him up, and take him back to his father to save him from his other brothers. This is what Reuben was thinking. Right? Read.
Verse 23. And it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat.
Right.
His coat of many colors that was on him.
Right.
And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it.
Right.
And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balmy and myrrh. His brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content.
Right. So now they want to get rid of him, but they didn't want to be guilty of murdering him. So they said, all right, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites. All right. So, I guess they felt that this was a lesser crime. Right. They said, well, at least we ain't kill him. We just got rid of him by selling him to the Ishmaelites. So this idea comes from Judah, which is the fourth born son. Right? He's the fourth oldest of the group. So Judah comes up with this idea of how they're going to get rid of Joseph. Read.
Verse 28. Then there passed Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt.
Right.
And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes.
Right. So now Reuben goes back to fulfill his, his plan to pick his brother Joseph and take his Joseph back to his father. Going, Joseph not in the pit now, because Judah and some of the other brothers, they went and sold Joseph to the Midianite in Ishmaelites, heading out, and they're merchants, man. They'll buy anything, buy and sell, supply and demand. They don't care what you selling. Right? Oh, your brother? Yeah, give me him. All right, it didn't matter. Right? And this is truly the definition of a sellout, man. They sold their brother out literally, right? For 20 pieces of silver, they sold their brother out, man. Cheap, right? So we understand that, that spirit of that spirit of envy, when that comes about, that only brings evil, man. Right? The only thing you're gonna get out of that spirit of envy is evil. Right? So you gotta be mindful of not envying, not being envious of anyone, right? And what blessings they have. All right. They were envious of the fact that their father showed him more favor, right? Instead of just be blessed with the favor that they were being shown. Right. So we can't look upon what somebody else is getting. Everybody understand that? All right. Your blessing is your blessing. Your walk is your walk. If somebody else gets something, that's good for them. Right? That same envy spirit brought them to this wicked crime right here against their brother. All right, let's read.
Verse 30. And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not. And I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood.
Right.
And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he went it, and he knew it, and said, it is my son's coat, and evil beasts have devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces.
Right. So they covered up the crime by delivering this bloody coat. Just so the son was killed by some beast. Read.
Verse 34. And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days.
Right.
And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down into the grave unto my son, mourning. Thus his fathers wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard.
Right. So those Midianites, like you said, they merchants. They go around buying and selling. That's what they do. So they got to Egypt, they sold Joseph, and they kept it moving. Right. So they just was transportation for Joseph. Right. All right. So we're gonna pick it up. Genesis 38 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38 and verse 1. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hirah. And Judah saw there was a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. And she conceived and bare a son. And he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son. And she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son. And called his name Shalah. And he was at Shezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Most High.
Right. So this is a lot of positive time passing here. So Judah takes on a Canaanite wife and starts to have children. How many children does Judah have?
3.
What's the 3 children? And that's in Hebrew, right? It's Cha when you see the CH. All right. So it's Kazib, Onan, and right, with his Canaanite woman. So now we got has grown up now to the age of him getting a wife. Slakia. Salah is the name. Salah is the son's name, right? Named Salah at Kazib. Correct. So Salah is the last son of the three sons. Onan, and Salah. Right. Age to have his own wife and children. So now about 20 years passed. So all this time, where's Joseph?
In Egypt.
He's in Egypt. So I want you to keep a track on how long he's in Egypt. Right. So already at least 20 years has passed. This crime has been committed. Right. Without an answer, Joseph still thinks his son was torn with beasts. What's that? Say it out again. You 37? Oh, Joseph should be 37, right? He should be around that age, right? Because he was 17. The last day he gave us his age. It might be some more time there, but about 37. All right, let's read.
Verse 7. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Most High. And the Most High slew him.
Right.
And Judah said unto Onan, Go and unto thy brother's wife,
right,
and marry her, right, and raise up seed to thy brother.
Now, why did he tell his brother to do that? Because that is according to our laws, right? God, let's get it real quick. No, Leviticus.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 19. Is that it? And I will break the pride of your power.
Oh, it's like that's not it. Hold on. Deuteronomy 25:5. Okay. It's like
the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25 and verse 5. If brethren dwell together and one of them die, right, and have no child,
right,
the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife.
Right. So this is why he told Onan to take wife, because he didn't have any male children, to raise up seed, to raise up his bloodline, and name that son that she will have after the brother that passed away. All right, everybody understand that? This is how we preserve seed. This is how we preserve our bloodlines. All right. So if you're a man, you don't have any male children, right? Your brother can continue your bloodline. All right. So this is why he's instructed. So that shows that all these laws that we were given from Moses, right? We already had them, right? We had them from the time of Jacob, right? Who taught Jacob these laws? Isaac. And who taught Isaac these laws? Abraham, right? And we can go on back to Noah, right? To show that what these laws already existed, right, from the beginning. Okay, who taught Noah? We can take it all the way back to Adam. These laws already existed. Okay. No, it was written. They was taught. They were told. They was taught. Remember when you read about Adam being put in the garden, right, and talks about the trees, right? I don't want to go off topic, but they're not trees like green trees you see outside, right? These are trees are men that have certain information, and he said freely eat of all of them. So that's how we got knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You want to bring something out? All right. Cain, right? Yeah.
That sin lies at the door.
That's right.
So if it's a transgression of the law, that law had already
existed. Exactly.
So we already know that's one of the laws.
Yeah, we already had laws. You got to think of it in this retrospect. Every animal that the Most High created, he gave them laws, right? He taught them how to do something, right? Who taught a spider how to spin a web? But they Most High taught him, and he spins a perfect one every time. He didn't go to web school, right? He, nobody the father spider didn't break down to him how to spin this web. It's already engrafted in his mind, his spirit, right? So what the Most High is proposing for us is something that you can see throughout all nature. All right. You ever watch the intricacy of a nest and a bird find these twigs from all over and build this intricate thing, this nest? If we take a look at it, it's a how would you say you know it's like an engineering that goes into what they build. It's not just thrown together. They actually sit there and put all these sticks, and it's if you ever check it out, it's very impressive. So how the Most High could tell a bird, right, whose brain can't be any bigger than this, right, to build this, he can engraft information within us as well, right? So that information was in us. Okay. The Most High never put us on the earth. You talk about cavemen times and all that. That's Esau's foolery, right? But we didn't know what fire was. We didn't know what a wheel do, right? We figured out what a wheel. No, that's his history. That's not our history. We always understood. There was never a time we were on our earth and did not understand the difference between wood and metal. We understood wood and metal. The Most High brought us here understanding these things. Okay, so Esau would like to take credit for everything, talking about he invented everything. He didn't invent anything, right? Everything was here already. So this law, going back to this law of the brother taking the wife of the deceased brother that have no male child, they understood that law, and that's why Judah instructed Onan to take Er's wife. So let's go back to the history. Let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38, and verse 9. Mm-hmm. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground.
Right. So what? Instead of, trying to impregnate her, he tried to avoid impregnating her by, spilling the seed on the ground. Okay. Read on.
Least that he should give seed to his brother.
Right. Lest he just give seed to his brother. So what? He was laying with the woman, but not trying to give the woman a child. All right. Read on.
And the thing he did displeased the Most High. Wherefore he slew him also.
Right. So why did Most High slew him for this? Was he what? What law did he break? What was he supposed to be doing? Right. He only was given the brother's wife to raise up seed in his brother's name, not to be laying with the woman, right, and using the woman for pleasures and no seed coming out of the woman. That's not why he was given the wife, right? He had a specific thing that he was supposed to do, and what? He's in the transgression right now. He did not fulfill that law. He did not raise up seed onto his brother's name. Okay, so this is why the Most High slew him for his wicked deeds, right? Let's read on.
Verse 11. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shalamah my son be grown. For he said, lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house.
Right, so now the wife Tamar has to now wait on the third brother to raise up seed off the first brother's day. But he's too young. He's not of age yet. So he said, listen, maybe you got to wait on the next brother, because the law says that what? Not to give that wife to a stranger, to another person, right? For once she was a wife of this family, she's a wife of this family. If there's no male there, she had to wait on the next male to reach of age. Okay. So understand there's laws behind the decisions that they're making. When you read in Genesis, you wonder why certain people did certain things. Those laws in Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy are being, you're seeing them in action in Genesis, even though they didn't give you the law in Genesis. Everybody understand that? All right, read.
Verse 12. And in process of time, the daughter of Shuah, Judah's wife, died.
Mm-hmm.
And Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shears to Tanath.
Mm-hmm.
He and his friend Hirah, the Adulamite.
So his daughter passed away. So when your daughter passed away, what's the condition you would be in? Mourning, right? You'll be saddened. You just lost your daughter, right? So he needed to be what? Comforted. So he went up with his friend Hirah, the Adulamite, right, to be comforted. Read on.
Verse 13. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Tanath to shear his sheep.
To shear his sheep. What does that mean, to shear his sheep? To trim the hair off of it, to sell it. They use the hairs, the wool of the sheep for fabric, for different things. So they would shear the sheep, they would shave them, and then either sell that wool or use it to make fabrics. All right, go ahead.
Verse 14. And she put her widow's garments off from her,
mm-hmm.
and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself,
right,
and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Tanath.
Mm-hmm.
For she saw that Shalah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife.
Right. So she saw that Shalah now is of age, and there hasn't been no marriage. So she went and take off her widow's garment, wrap herself in a nice apparel, right, and went and sat in a way where he would have to travel to come up to Tanath. Right. Read on.
Verse 15. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot.
He thought it to be what?
An harlot.
So then what kind of attire does she put on? A harlot's attire, what they wore. Right? There's such thing called a harlot's attire. Right? Read on.
Because she had covered her face.
Because she had what?
Covered her face.
Because she had covered her face. So she had a certain attire on and her face covered up. It's something that what the harlots wore at that time. Okay? At that time. Read on.
Verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned unto her by the way.
He did what?
And he turned unto her by the way.
So now Judah's going off now. Right? Are we supposed to live with harlots? And, you know what I mean? I'm not making no excuses for him. Right? Facts. Right? And he saw the harlot and he turned in onto the harlot. Right? Not realizing who she was. Read.
And he turned unto her by the way and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee.
Right.
Not that she was his daughter-in-law.
Right.
And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me?
Right.
And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And
wheeling and dealing. She said, all right. How much? He basically said, how much? Right? And he said he offered a kid of the flock, which is a what? Right? A young goat, right? Or calf, right? For her to go for him to lay with her. So when they say that, you're saying people say the oldest profession, right? in the world is prostitution, because that's what she was dealing with at this point. Right? But according to the law, let's get that. Deuteronomy 23:17, right? Deuteronomy 23:17.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 17. there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel.
There shall be no what?
No whore of the daughters of Israel.
There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel. The daughters of Israel are not to whore themselves out, right? Not to have relations for money or for fame or for, other than only time you have those type of relations is for marriage. Everybody understand that? Anything less than that, you're whoring yourself out, right, man? You want to get that too. Read on.
Nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
Right. Read on. And we know what a sodomite is, dealing with homosexuality of the sons of Israel. It's not accepted in the sight of the Most High. Read on.
Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore.
Right.
Or the price of a dog into the house.
Right. The hire of a whore or the price of a dog is the same thing. Right. Because a whore is considered a dog in the sight of the Most High. Right. So you're not to what? Sell yourself, right, for money. Read on.
Or the price of a dog into the house of the Most High thy power for any vow.
Right.
For even both these are an abomination unto the Most High thy power.
Right. So you can't even bring, if that's the way you make your money is not accepted in the sight of the Most High. So, if you're going and making it rain during the week and then want to bring your tithes in, right, that doesn't work with the Most High. Everybody understand that? All right. That's not how the Most High doesn't accept that type of money gained or unlawfully gained, wickedly gained. He doesn't accept that kind of funds. Okay, your money has to be gained in a righteous manner or a lawful manner, but he doesn't take that. So you can't, sometimes these pastors in these churches, they don't care if you're a drug dealer, they don't care if you are a madam, right, as they call them, a pimp. They'll take that money. Green is green, just throw it in the pot. But with the Most High, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. All right, also give me Leviticus 19.
The book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 29. Do not prostitute thy daughter.
Do not what?
Prostitute thy daughter.
Come on.
To cause her to be a whore.
Right.
Lest the land fall to whoredom.
Right.
And the land become full of wickedness.
And the land become full of wickedness. So this creates, wickedness to expand. So, a lot of our daughters, they not our daughters, but the daughters of our people out there, they're in the strip joints. That's a form of prostitution. Anybody understand that? Because what you do is you're selling you're basically selling the idea, right, of intimacy, right? And that's also against the will of the Most High. So somebody say, well, I'm not a whore because I ain't sleep with nobody. You still whoring yourself. Okay. Arya? Yes, you do. That's a dowry, right? So a dowry is a righteous contract for marriage. All right. You're not supposed to pay for sexual favors and then move on, right? That's no the father's, his father, but he said not to prostitute that daughter, meaning that don't let a man pay for your daughter, then don't give your daughter to the man, and you pay for it too. And now you prostituting your daughter. You being a pimp, right? They can't be that in the sight of the Most High. Right. Okay. Only time you accept payment for your daughter is that she's going to be that man's for the rest of her life, right? That's a one deal. That's a one-shot deal. Everybody understand that? Okay. Let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38 and verse 17. And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it?
Right. So he said, how do I know I'm going to get this kid of the flock? If I open up onto you, how do I know that you're going to pay me? You need to give me something so I can hold on to it till I get my payment. Basically what she's saying. Read.
And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thy hand. And he gave it her,
Mm-hmm.
and came in unto her, rose and went away,
Mm-hmm.
and laid by her veil, by her Salakia, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood.
Right. So she went and put back on her clothing that she normally wears. Her widow, she went and switched back, right? To her widow's garment after she done did this thing. Now, why did she do this thing? What was on her mind? What did she say? Huh? Why did she do this thing? She wanted a baby, right? And she saw what? Right? Salah, who was supposed to be her husband, right? She was promised to have Salah. Salah reached age to be a husband, and she wasn't given Salah. So she put matters in her own hands, right? That's where we go into this, right? She didn't wait on the Most High. She didn't wait for her husband to be brought to her. She automatically got what? She lost patience, right? Oftentimes, when you lose patience, it will drive you to sin because you didn't wait on what was already ordained for you to do. The righteous thing was her to wait for Salah, to be given Salah, right? Like she was promised, right? Now she's been with she's been with Onan, right? They both did, was wicked in the sight of the Most High. The Most High slew him. They didn't have any children. Onan went and played with her, right? So she's been through some things, right? So we got to look at the whole matter, all right? Onan used her, did not give her seed, right? Used her for pleasures. Most High slew him. Here come now Jacob going off again, right? Right? That's what I said, Judah, right? What I said? I'm sorry, Judah, right? He's in his feelings about losing his daughter. Hold on a second. So like, yeah, because I said it earlier that he lost his daughter. Right, Judah's wife died, right? You couldn't. It's like it. All right, so I was all in the wrong mind state. All right, so he lost his wife. He's in his feelings. He's on the way to be comforted, to share his sheep, and he sees a harlot and goes in onto the harlot. So there's a lot of circumstances, what we're bringing up here. All right? There's a lot of circumstances that led up to this situation, but it doesn't make it right at all. And a lot of us end up in situations because of circumstances that are not right. All right? And circumstances. Everybody understand that? Because obviously there's a lot going on here. He lost his wife. 2 of his sons died, right? For their wickedness, right? She waiting on her husband. She waiting on a child. She wants to give birth, right? She waited all this time for Salah to reach the age to marry her. Still didn't get him, right? For whatever reason, it was procrastinating with bringing it, right? So and Judah mind state ain't right, but he still did this wicked thing and still wicked in the sight of the Most High, Israel. Well, everything that happens, the Most High ordains, right? Give me Isaiah 42, I believe it is. Let me get there. 45 and 5.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 5.